Very good evening to you and welcome to ITV Calendar.
Yes, hello, a very good evening to you. Here are tonight's main stories.
Shocking attack. 2 children are recovering in hospital after being mauled by a dog, which also injured a man and another animal.
A rare fight, the Barnsley rail passenger who's become a test case in a campaign to overturn tens of thousands of potentially unfair fines.
I thought it can't be real, but now obviously knowing why it's gone to London and that potentially the train company were in the wrong, yeah, it's a big deal.
If your dishwasher's a source of household friction, stay tuned as we find out how best to stack it.
And we join the 3 friends cycling across Europe to raise money for motor neurone disease research, inspired by Rob Burrow and his incredible legacy. But first tonight, a West Yorkshire police officer has appeared in court after allegedly abusing his position for a sexual purpose by beginning a relationship with a vulnerable crime victim. Detective Constable Wasim Bashir is accused of contacting a number of women who'd been the victims of serious sexual offences or domestic abuse, crimes which he'd investigated. John Hill reports.
Wasim Bashir leaving court in Hull today. His career, good name and potentially his liberty could hang in the balance depending on the outcome of the proceedings against him. The 54-year-old long-serving Bradford detective has been suspended from duty since his arrest. Now he's been charged with misconduct in a public office for allegedly abusing his position for a sexual purpose. It's alleged that over the course of a 2.5-year period, Wasim Bashir contacted vulnerable victims of serious sexual offences or domestic abuse during the course of his duties, but without any identified policing purpose. It's also alleged that he began a sexual relationship with one of those victims. Well, in court today, he didn't enter a formal plea, but his lawyer said that his client did intend to deny the charge against him. He was granted bail on condition he doesn't contact 10 women whose identities were read out in court. Wasim Bashir will appear before Leeds Crown Court at the end of the month. John Hill, ITV News, Hull.
Our other main story tonight, and 2 young children are in hospital with serious injuries after a dog attack in South Yorkshire.
The incident happened this morning in Bolton-on-Doon between Rotherham and Barnsley, and although the breed of dog has not been revealed, it is now in the care of the police. Martin Fisher reports.
Well, this attack happened at around 8:20 here in Bolton-on-Doon this morning in this residential street. It's understood that a man was attacked by a dog suffering a minor injury, but at the same time 2 children were attacked, a 9-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl, and both of those sustained serious injuries. They were taken by ambulance to hospital for treatment. It's also understood as part of this attack that the dog involved attacked another dog, leaving that with serious injuries as well. Well, the dog involved in this attack was detained just a few streets away from here by police and remains in their care. And police have said a 46-year-old woman and a 37-year-old man have been arrested on suspicion of allowing a dog to be dangerously out of control. Well, it's not known what kind of dog was involved in today's attack, but earlier this year it became a criminal offence to own an XL bully type of dog in England and Wales, unless the dog has a certificate of exemption. It's also not known if the dog involved in today's attack was one covered by the Dangerous Dogs Act. Well, South Yorkshire Police have asked anyone who may have witnessed this morning's incident to get in touch to help them understand just what happened here in Bolton-on-Doon. Martin Fisher, ITV News.
That was Martin Fisher there. Well, still to come on the programme, the burning question: how should you stack your dishwasher? We have vital tips.
And I'll be dishing up your full forecast, jam-packed with detail, of course, a little later on.
More of the day's news now, and a 55-year-old woman who was injured in a shooting in a Rotherham district is not believed to have been the intended target, according to the police. The woman was taken to hospital after emergency services were called to the Red Lion on High Street in Wath on Friday night. It's believed a group of men were in the area when a gun was fired. Police cordoned off an area outside the pub and found evidence of a firearms discharge.
Now, you might remember that we told you how one man from Leeds took on the system after he was threatened with a criminal conviction when he says he couldn't buy a rail ticket.
Northern Rail used a so-called single justice procedure, a court system which only requires a magistrate to approve a prosecution, sometimes without the defendant being present.
Now, 75,000 cases where people were fined could be overturned. The Chief Magistrate will review 6 cases to determine what happens. And one of those cases is Sarah Cook from Barnsley, who says that after her experience, she'll never board a train again. Helen Steele reports.
In her pet shop in Barnsley, Sarah Cook is used to taking on exotic animals, but not the criminal justice system.
So this was the letter from London Magistrates Court.
Fined for failing to pay for a £4 train ticket, she appealed it and was taken to court. Having settled the bill, she thought the matter was settled too.
I thought it can't be real, but now obviously knowing why it's gone to London and that potentially the train company were in the wrong, yeah, it's a big deal.
Sarah is now a test case in a mass review of convictions brought by rail operators. If her fine was found to be unlawful, 75,000 others could have their convictions revoked. Sarah's story is a common one. Just across the road from her shop, she tried to buy a ticket at Wombwell station.
Put my card in, it said remove card, put my card in again, said remove card.
The machine was broken, and once on board, she didn't see a conductor.
So when I went to get off the train, there were transport police.
She appealed a £20 fine and was told a magistrate could convict her and fine her nearly £500. A system designed to fast-track certain cases called the single justice procedure. Just before her court date, Northern Rail backed down and fined her £4, the cost of the ticket.
If the machines and the technology don't work, I feel like that's a flawed system. And I feel if your appeal is, I want to pay, I tried to pay, I'm willing to pay, then I don't think you should be penalised for that.
Well, these signs leave passengers in no doubt that they have to buy a ticket either on their phones or from the machine over there before they board a train over here. But what's been called into question is the legality of these so-called single justice procedures used against those who don't have a ticket. Now, under one of those, Sarah could have had a criminal conviction or had her case heard by magistrates without her being present. Even magistrates think the system needs an overhaul, claiming vulnerable people like dementia patients have been convicted in their absence because they don't understand the process.
We also think that there should be more transparency. We'd welcome an arrangement where journalists, accredited journalists, could listen into SJP sessions in the same way as they can walk into the back of any courthouse in England and Wales.
Fare evasion costs rail companies £250 million a year. There's more than one train company involved in the review, but Northern Rail today said there are multiple ways to buy tickets and that their focus is on treating people fairly. But travel expert Simon Calder says the current system doesn't catch the right people.
Using the single justice procedure and a law dating back to the 19th century doesn't seem to be a great way to do it, because you catch people who are fundamentally innocent and you apply large fines to them. Hopefully, people who were innocent are going to be let off.
The review will take place on July the 19th. A case that began in Barnsley, which could terminate thousands of cases down in London. Helen Steele, ITV News in Barnsley.
Yes, I'm sure quite a few people have found themselves in that same situation, and you can see more on that story and catch up on all of the day's news over on our website. Just head to itv.com/calendar. That's itv.com/calendar. Well worth a look.
Now, as the final countdown to the opening of polling stations ticks ever closer. Once you've made a decision and put your voting paper in the ballot box, The next stage is entrusted to an army of counters who kick into action soon after 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
But what's it like being in charge of one of the most important democratic processes? Adam Fowler has been speaking to the returning officer at Barnsley Council.
Yes, not long to go now until we can get out there and exercise our democratic right to vote. And here at Barnsley Metrodome, these are the ballot boxes that are about to be sent away to 119 different polling stations across Barnsley North and Barnsley South. And here, tomorrow, just after 10, the count will start. And I'm joined now by the acting returning officer for that Barnsley count, Sarah Norman. Are you looking forward to it?
I think it's always quite exciting when you get to this stage in an election. It's obviously the culmination of an awful lot of work for our election staff, and it'll be good to get the count underway and get an accurate result.
And tell us about that work. How big of a job is this?
It is a big job, and it's a big job because with a general election you never know when it's going to be until the last moment. So we've got to suddenly swing into action, get the count venue, get all the polling stations organised, bring in all the staff. So there's an awful lot of work to organise in what's just 6 weeks.
It's a huge responsibility, isn't it? And a massive operation as well.
It is a big responsibility. I love democracy. I'm a great believer in the whole process, and it is such an opportunity for the public to exercise their right to vote, to say what they want from a new government, and I'm really proud to be part of that process.
And there are a few things people need to remember tomorrow when they go down to that polling station, isn't there?
Voter ID is the key one. Do make sure you take one of the prescribed forms of voter ID with you. The main two are a driving licence or a passport. You might also have an older person's bus pass, you can use that, a disability bus pass. And if you haven't got one of those, hopefully you've applied for a voter authority certificate, which is a form of ID you can use at the count. So hopefully everyone's got those ready and they take them down to the polling station with them.
And do you know roughly what time you're going to expect a result tomorrow?
It's always difficult to be sure. We'll have to see how it goes. It obviously depends how close it is. If there's a close result, we might have to do a recount. That can obviously take a lot longer, but I would hope somewhere between 2 and 3 in the morning.
OK, late night for you then. You got plenty of treats to keep you going?
Absolutely, and caffeine, of course.
OK. Well, Sarah Norman, thank you very much. So there you have it. Not long now till those polls open. Get out there and do your thing, and don't forget your ID.
Yes, thanks for that reminder, Adam. Well, you can watch the results live as they come in with ITV's unrivalled election programme tomorrow night. Here are Tom and Anushka with the details.
When the voting's over and the exit poll is revealed, our unrivalled team of experts, including Nicola Sturgeon, George Osborne and Ed Balls, will break down what it means for you, the parties and the country.
And throughout the night, as results come in, we'll be going deep into the data to understand not just who's going to hold power, but how the new mix of MPs will shape the way the UK is run.
It could be one heck of a night, so please do join us for Election 2024, the results, live.
We'll certainly be watching. Thanks very much to Tom and Anushka. Now, there may be some big decisions to make in the next 24 hours or so, but the burning question is, Lara, are you stacking the dishwasher properly, I wonder?
Well, I'm certainly stacking it. Whether I'm doing it properly or not, Ian, is another matter, but I'm sure you'll tell me if I am.
I certainly would. Well, while they can be good, of course, for getting rid of what many people consider to be one of the worst household chores, doing the washing up, they can also be a source of arguments.
So is there a right or wrong way to load your dishwasher? Well, James Webster has been investigating.
Come clean. How often do you disagree about loading the dishwasher? If it's a source of tension in your household, you are not alone. One survey claims it's among the top 5 reasons why couples argue. The consumer magazine Which regularly tests new dishwashers, and the team there admits there are things that affect how well they clean.
The dishwasher cleans by virtue of jet sprays. And if you obstruct those sprays with other pots and pans, for example, then some stuff might not clean as well. So the way in which you stack it will make a difference as to whether or not the item comes out as clean as it should.
So, how do you load yours? Is there a method you follow, or are you the one who rearranges everything? We've been out testing the water in Barnsley.
I just try to just get it in there no matter what, you know. He likes to do it all strategically. It's got to be in a certain order. So, you know, the plates and everything have to be stacked exactly in the slots, whereas I'll just shove it in there.
Either one of us fills it at different times and either one of us puts it on, so there's no arguments.
So is there an efficient way of deciding where to put things?
So, general rule of thumb, I would say, if you eat out of it like a bowl, pop it on the lower level. The lower level tends to do a much better clean. Mugs, I would suggest popping them in the middle, actually, and your glass is on the outside.
See, I'm not doing it efficiently.
It's not going to be a hard and fast rule. If it comes out clean, you've done it okay.
With this level of expertise, I got the team to dish the dirt on some tips for me to use at home. Don't bother rinsing items, they say. Just removing lumps of leftover food is enough. The dirty side should face the middle, leaving space for the water to circulate. Cups and glasses clean better on the top. That's also where plastic items should go, so they don't get warped with the heat. And mix up your cutlery so forks and spoons don't stick together. Looking after the machine itself is also important.
Dishwasher salt is something that I think a lot of people, including me, forget about. Also, run yourself a hot wash every once in a while just to clean out everything that's inside your dishwasher. Check the filter, pull it out, have a wash of it, have a rinse of it under the tap, and you want that to be clean. Otherwise, you're just going to be circulating dirty water.
Maybe there is no definite right or wrong way to load the dishes, but the experts say some things do make a sparkling finish more likely, which will do nothing to put an end to the disagreements. James Webster, ITV News.
So, cups in the middle, not at the side.
You see, I told you that was what to do when you were faffing about earlier in the kitchen.
I wouldn't listen, would I?
No, you wouldn't. You won't be told.
Kerry knows, though.
Here's a slave to the washing up lot.
Hey, I'm the dishwasher in my house, I'll tell you.
Oh, so you haven't got one? It's all washing up by hand?
Yeah, don't have any of that stress. Just, pop it in the sink. Winds are the focus over the next few days. It was already quite gusty during the course of yesterday evening, but that gave us some beautiful lenticular lens-like clouds that bounced off the Pennines to parts of West Yorkshire, Winterset. Big thank you to Steve Turner for this shot and to Sue for this one. And basically any moisture trap that basically condensed there and gave us those little clouds during the course of the evening, uplifted basically by the setting sun, making it look great. But winds are the focus tomorrow for polling day. I did mention it yesterday. We could be getting gusts in excess of 45 miles an hour over the Pennines, and that really is quite strong for July. We'd normally expect low pressure systems not to be quite so near and the isopods not to be quite so tight. And if we were talking about a gale, now a mean speed, so a constant average speed, 39 to 46 is gale. So we've got gale force gusts tomorrow. So just to be aware that if you are going out with that polling card, I mentioned it yesterday, hang on tight. Now we'd have to get to 73 mile an hour mean speeds or above for it to be hurricane force. Of course, we don't get hurricanes in this part of the world, but this is an amazing shot of Hurricane Beryl, which was a Category 5 hurricane, the big daddy of hurricanes, earlier on in the week, the last couple of days. And that's the earliest in the Atlantic that we've named a Category 5 hurricane. It is now heading right over Jamaica. They're expecting 155 mile an hour winds. I can't even imagine that. We're hoping that it does ease off as it heads towards the Cayman Islands and of course the Mexican coastline. But yeah, all eyes are on that today. That's what I've been watching. So not the weather over the UK, the weather over Jamaica. So yes, I think we can cope just about with our 45 mile an hour gusts as we head into tomorrow, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you.
As you say, hang on to your polling card and your photo ID when you go to vote. Now, Lioness and former Leeds Beckett University student Lucy Bronze is to be awarded an honorary doctorate for services to sport. The award recognises her achievements as a professional footballer, including winning UEFA Women's Euro 2022 and reaching the 2023 FIFA World Cup final.
Now, this is a nice little story. A young fundraiser from North Yorkshire who's living with a rare brain tumour says it was amazing to go for tea with the Queen. 11-year-old Lila O'Donovan was one of 2 children who were invited to a private party by Queen Camilla. Now, Lila from Catterick received the special invite after missing the official Buckingham Palace garden party in May because she was in hospital.
There was sandwiches and cakes, and we had a tea party. She was nice. She talked about books, and how her grandchildren have TikTok and how she has to take their phone off them sometimes because they want to do TikToks with her.
Meeting the Queen can't be bad, can it? Now, finally, ahead of the funeral of Leeds Rhinos legend and motor neurone disease campaigner Rob Burrow this weekend, a team of cycling fundraisers have set off on a 2,700-kilometre ride in his honour.
The 3 in 3 challenge is seeing 3 friends ride from Malaga to Rome through 3 countries in 3 weeks, and all in support of the MND Association.
And they've all lost friends or loved ones to the degenerative disease and want to make the most of their fitness by raising money for a cure. Jonathan Brown reports.
Their training might have been more Castle Hill than Costa del Sol. But this Huddersfield cycling trio are currently making their way through Europe for one very special reason.
I've done it! It's been massive for me in life. It's changed my life around. I want to run marathons. I won't be here today talking to you.
5 years ago, Rob Burrow's diagnosis inspired Benny to start fundraising. And £38,000 later, he says Rob's death last month will only drive him to do more.
Just more inspired now to bang the drum even more. People with MND, we're trying to give them hope. And hope is like a picture of Gemma on my bike there. She's lost her life at 36-year-old. So the more we can push it, the more funds we can get in to hopefully find a cure one day.
Rob was a key part of one of the most successful Leeds Rhinos sides in the club's history. But in 2019, aged just 37, he was diagnosed with motor neuron disease, a degenerative condition with no known cure. With friend and former teammate Kevin Sinfield by his side, he raised money and awareness. His death led to a massive outpouring of grief. His funeral will take place on Sunday. In honour of Rob and others they've lost to the disease, the trio are riding 2,700 kilometres from Malaga to the Colosseum in Rome. Those stories, they say, will drive them on.
A close friend of mine who I played rugby league alongside, Shane Whittaker, he passed away due to MND around about 18 months ago, and he was diagnosed just before Rob Burrow. And if they can be struck down, then definitely nobody's invincible. So if you have the ability to do something, then it seems the right thing to do.
It makes you feel lucky just to be able to still have your fitness when these things are taken away from people and can be so debilitating. And you know, the things that we're going to experience and do on this trip, and we will go through hard times, but nothing compared to what some of the people who have to live with this disease go through.
So as these 3 friends traverse the continent by bike, they say as the region gets ready for Rob Burrow's final farewell, they'll be doing their best to do him proud by working hard in his memory. Jonathan Brown, ITV News, Huddersfield.
They certainly will, and good luck for their 3 in 3 challenge. Amazing.
Yes, that's right. And of course, Rob's funeral on Sunday is going to be quite an occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, just looking back at Rob and his life and all that he's done to raise awareness for MND, it's just so incredible. And we know that anyway, don't we? But we just keep getting reminded.
Oh, we do indeed. Now then, if you're off to vote tomorrow, you want to know what the weather's like, so here it is.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, a messy mixture, the weather story over the next few days. It was pretty unsettled first thing this morning. Quite a lot of cloud around with some outbreaks of rain, but we have seen some breaks coming through and little bits of blue during the course of the day. Like here in Nottingley this morning, a big thank you to Phil, and also here in York, a big thank you to Gary. Weather photos at itv.com. So the clearer skies are lining up in the west for during the course of tonight. As we head through into tomorrow, the winds become the focus for polling day itself. So during the course of the evening, we see the cloud and the showery outbreaks of rain push eastwards, and into the early hours of tomorrow morning it becomes predominantly dry and clear, but the winds gather strength. So nothing too chilly, but in very well sheltered rural spots we could get a 5 or 6 Celsius. It's a blustery start to the day tomorrow, but for most of us it should be dry and bright with some sunshine, sometimes 4:43 and 9:38. So the best of the sunshine coming through first thing tomorrow. It's a very gusty, blustery day especially over the Pennines, could be in excess of 45 miles an hour by the afternoon. Middle part of the day, those winds dragging from west-east, a few showers, but many places will be dry, and especially towards the evening again, we are expecting it to be mostly dry with some sunshine. The winds ease out as we head into Friday, so for much of the day it will be dry and bright, an occasional shower perhaps for North Yorkshire, but with some good sunny spells. But you can see this system threatening from the south, and it's likely to give us some rain as we head through into the early part of Saturday. For the weekend itself, sunshine and showers on Saturday, a cold northwesterly breeze. Don't let that catch you out. The UV is 6, and then perhaps not quite as lively the showers for Sunday.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
And it's a messy old grass pollen forecast as well. Showers or rain will dampen pollen counts down, but winds will whip it up. So we're going in the middle with moderate over the next few days as we head closer towards the weekend.
Oh, thank you very much. Hey, now, how about this, you two? You're going to help me stack the dishwasher in the newsroom?
I think you know how to do it now.
I wouldn't dare go anywhere near.
Well, you're the experts. Now you are.
Thank you for watching. Hope everything's okay at home with your dishwasher.
Good night.
Bye-bye.